All right, we want to get to some breaking news right now. Mayor Karen Bass, we're expecting her to speak at a news conference about the violence that erupted outside of a local synagogue. So let's listen in.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today. This morning, Councilwoman Yaroslavsky and I spoke and called on leaders of the community to come together to discuss what happened. The violence that happened in the Pico-Robertson neighborhood yesterday was abhorrent, and blocking access to a place of worship is absolutely unacceptable. What we witnessed was anti-Semitism in the heart of one of our Jewish communities. This violence was designed to stoke fear. It was designed to divide, but hear me loud and clear, it will fail. What you see up here with me today is a united front, saying unequivocally that violence and hate will find no harbor here in Los Angeles. I also want to recognize both the governor and President Biden for standing with us as well. We cannot allow hate to seep through our society, and we will not. I know the Pico-Robertson neighborhood well. This is a community that I represented in Congress, in the State Assembly, and in my short time as mayor. We've stood together both in tragedy, responding to the shooting of 2 Orthodox men last year, and in celebration, joining together in the lighting of the menorah on the first night of Hanukkah. But now, in the events of yesterday, have cast a shadow of fear, not just in this community or in our city, but regionally and nationally. We will not allow hate to win. Last night, I called on LAPD to immediately provide additional patrols in the Pico-Robertson community, as well as outside of houses of worship throughout the city. Since then, I've been in close contact with law enforcement officials, as well as civic, community, and faith leaders, working to come together to ensure that this violence never happens again. In less than 24 hours of yesterday's incidents, we've worked to convene faith leaders, community groups, and law enforcement to have constructive conversation working on ensuring this does not happen again. We have decided on the following points. We will be working to immediately convene leaders of houses of worship and cultural centers to discuss how to protect sacred spaces, sharing ideas, practices, and strategies to keep congregants safe. LAPD will enhance their partnership with Jewish public safety organizations to continually review evolving tactics and threats to the community and to ensure that we are not just responding, but taking proactive action to prevent these instances from happening in the first place. We will also work with our state representatives, especially Assemblymember Jesse Gabriel, to bring resources here to protect LA houses of worship. Councilwoman Yaroslavsky will be introducing an urgent motion to secure additional funding as well. We also will be contacting and having a conversation with our city attorney, Heidi Feldstein-Soto, to talk about several things that we need to examine. For example, permits for protests, the idea of people wearing masks at protests, and establishing clear lines of demarcation between what is legal and what is not. But know that this isn't just a one-off. This is a sustained commitment. As mayor, my #1 job is to keep people safe, and I want to assure Angelenos that we will continue our efforts to make sure that you not just feel safe, but you actually are safe, especially in places of worship. Los Angeles will not stand for anti-Semitism. Los Angeles will not stand or tolerate violence. And know this, those that are responsible for either will be found and held accountable. And I want to thank all of the leaders here that are standing today. Again, what you see here is a united front against violence, a united front against hate. Let me introduce my partner and colleague, Councilwoman Katie Yaroslavsky.
Thank you, Mayor Bass, for your partnership over the last 24 hours in particular, but also for the last year and a half. Thank you all for being here. Mayor Bass and I just finished a series of internal meetings with law enforcement, private security companies, and community leaders to discuss the completely unacceptable violence in Pico-Robertson, my neighborhood, yesterday. Our conversation focused on how the situation escalated so unacceptably and the next steps for developing a concrete plan of action to prevent this from happening again. There is understandably a lot of fear right now in the Jewish community, and what happened yesterday only deepened those fears.
All right, you have been listening to a live press conference. We just heard from Mayor Bass saying that this was intolerable. The protesters, pro-Palestinian protesters, blocking worshipers from getting into their synagogue, and then a fight breaking out. You watch the violence on the video, and you see how frightening this moment was. This is something that she will not tolerate, the mayor says. They're taking a number of actions to prevent this from ever happening again, calling this blatant anti-Semitism. And what I found was interesting is among the many things that they're going to do, as well as meeting with community leaders and religious leaders, is looking into all the protesters who are showing up wearing masks. Perhaps that will be banned. We'll have to watch, wait, and see. But that was the gist of the mayor's press conference, saying this is intolerable and this will never happen again in this city under her watch.
And stay with Eyewitness News for continuing coverage of this story. We will bring you the very latest on our air and on the free ABC 7 Los Angeles app. Stay with us. We'll be right back.